We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. You're listening to this on a Monday. We're recording it on a Sunday night and have the good fortune of having a regular guest, Will, with us today. And Will, you should feel happy. This is the one place you're not getting banned.
Yeah, it's been wow. It doesn't take much for TikTok, and like I said, people, I am who I am, and I got a lot of advice. Well, you need to tone it down. You shouldn't curse. You can't do certain things, and I'm like going,
What are you doing
fuck
any
it.
worse than what I do?
Yeah, and
What do
that's
you,
the thing. It's just one of those things. Someone sent me a couple of ideas and something that helped talk, so reached out to that to see if we can get them off my back. Um, I mean, I'm massively suppressed. I see it. I mean, I put out videos like 40 views, but it is what it is. I can't stop it. TikTok is on their own thing. So I don't know why I chap their ass, but I guess I do. So we
well,
move forward.
I think what's happened is you've got a lot of Trump-fucks that don't like you, and they just keep piling on every time they see you. And that's why I say block as many as you can because they're nothing but an annoyance and a
Oh, I don't even
problem.
see them
And
though. They just go mass reporting. I don't even hear from it.
yeah,
They basically they backstab you is what they do because they're cowards. They're all cowards. All Trumplicans, all MAGA are cowards. They are.
you know,
Whenever we
what
confront them, they're cowards
they are
and they're fighting
cowards.
out.
And I suggested something on one of my after I was talking about your situation.
Mhm.
I said, whenever you look at these Trump-fucks, they have no followers, they have no videos, they aren't doing anything. They're just out there being trolls. And I supposed what would happen if somebody like me with a fair amount of followers just picked out a Trump fuck for the day and said a code word like jackpot and let my followers go after them like they're doing to somebody like you.
But the irony is that they are hidden. They're in the
Yeah,
rocks. They
right.
pop up. I mean, you get the occasional, and I guess the only thing that will that aggravates me is that like someone like what the older millennium is out of jail and still doing his shit again. Dude's a
Yeah.
felon, but hey, do what you got to do. So that being said, so it's just like I'm banned from lives until the 18th because I guess my crime was that the title of the live was "I'm Back Beaches," Bettetch. It's a play on a movie because it's the
Right.
first time I've been alive in a while. But I was into the live like 30 minutes before they pulled like someone discovered it,
I'll give you
and it's just
give you a
weird.
tip. I'll give you a tip about TikTok. Where TikTok comes in and their algorithm recognizes thing. First of all, title your thing something generic. If I'm titling something TikTok I take a word that's kind of appropriate for the thing that doesn't really say anything and isn't
Mhm,
going to be potentially catching anybody's ire, just something generic.
mhm.
And then when you put in hashtags, hashtags can tip off the algorithm too. If you ever notice on my TikToks, I only have two hashtags: Rational Boomer Podcast. I never put in any
Okay,
other hashtags because they were getting me in trouble too. So if you want to go
okay,
into the radar, don't get too creative with the title or the hashtags.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is, and I can't. As you know, like I tell everyone, I just do my thing. I have
Yeah.
no, I have no goal or plan. It's just that I see shit, it bugs me. I want to tell you, and enough people have come to me, thank you because you said something I was thinking,
Right.
and which is fine. I'm good with it, and I get a lot of that still. But it is what it is. So basically, we keep going until they can't tell us. I mean, my biggest concern right now is like going outside. It's open season. I mean,
Well,
it's
let me
like a
ask you
Bugs
that.
Bunny cartoon. It's Mexican season. God
Let
Almighty
me
out there.
let me ask you about that. You're an
Mm,
American citizen. You were born in the United States, but you happen to
yeah.
be Hispanic. You happen to be brown. With what's
Hmm.
going on with deportations and ICE and all of this stuff, are you literally you live in Georgia, so that's
Hmm.
not optimal for somebody who's a brown skin.
Mhm.
But are you literally afraid when you walk down the street or get in your car that something like that could occur to even somebody like you?
Yeah, now
Really?
once the Holman put that, well, we're going to stop people by the way they look. I mean, he just put it out there. We're going to racial profile you, and there's an evidence of it. The same day he did that, there's a Hispanic guy who went to Home Depot by himself in
Yeah.
DeKalb County and vanished. Family don't know where he's at. He's an American citizen. He's gone. Apparently, he was picked
Wow.
up by ICE or someone there. So those are the things that are happening. I mean, you have a DACA resident is now a DACA um, person is now who's been in this country 30 years. DACA gives him protection. He's been working the system. Now he's in the Footer Everglades. You know what they got him for? Because he drove on a suspended license. 1/3, of course, there's 2/3 of those people in that fucking prison on that concentration camp have not committed felonies. And people are asking, women and children have gone missing. Where are they?
Yeah, that's a
This
good question.
is this is ethnic cleansing because all you got to do is that Stephen Miller wrote, and I'm reading this from the Midas Touch, so forgive me, guys. It says he posted on X. Stephen Miller, Nosferatu himself, said, "What would LA look without illegal aliens? You'll be able to see a doctor in the ER right away. No wait, no time, no problem. Your kids can go to a public school that have more money to know what to do with. Classrooms would be smaller. That doesn't. What are you fucking talking about? The budget is
Especially
not
when you're,
spelled under. Go
I
ahead.
mean, you might have less people at the hospital because of illegal immigrants, but you can't afford the health care. Doctors are leaving the hospitals. Education, you're cutting money to education. So what he's saying makes no fucking sense.
Well, he's talking about Los Angeles because for some reason he's under the impression that Los Angeles never had Mexicans in it. They just showed up all of a sudden. Okay, he has no idea the history of Los Angeles. It was a pueblo. I mean, I'm not even going to go into it because we know what the truth is. But they've got it in their head, like Christy Nome, that fucking Turning Point show thing goes. She told the audience that Democrats are evil because they want migrants to be treated better than American citizens with more rights and benefits. These aren't just liberals anymore. You look at the Democratic Party; they're part of communism, Marxists, and socialists, or founding fathers, blah blah blah. First of all, you don't even know what a communist or a Marxist is, you dumb bitch. Okay. And two,
The first question I would ask her, please define communism, Marxism, and socialism. Define them how they're specifically different and how they are specifically similar. And she
yeah,
would never be able to do it.
it wouldn't
None of
know.
them could.
They don't. It's just fucking buzzwords. Those of us who lived through the Cold War barely understood it ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, let's be honest. The only reason the Russians were a threat is that, let's be honest, they were an authoritarian government trying to take over the world at the time. They had nuclear weapons. That's the truth, under
yeah.
the guise of Marxism, Marx in the guise of communism. And you can get into that whole social bullshit. I'm not. Um, and so what's going on is they're still using immigrants as a way to justify what they're doing. I mean, they're still saying that the reason they cut Medicare, they had John Barrasso on one of the Sunday shows. The Sunday shows are a waste of fucking time because they're just there for Republicans to lie to your face
Absolutely.
and interviewers just to kind of go, okay. But went out there and said, they asked him, we're cutting Medicare. He goes, no, we're not. We are removing 1.8 million illegals who are using the system illegally. The reporter goes, no, you can't be in that system if you're not a documented American or a documented citizen. Said, no, what we're doing is that there's this so-called, he called it a money laundering scheme by states to use federal money to put immigrants on Medicaid when they shouldn't be on. And I'm going, what ass did you pull that out of? And
And why
in
don't
the
you prosecute
explanation,
the people that are doing that?
well, the thing about it is what he's talking about, if you live in California, they have something called Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal is separate than Medicare. Okay. Medi-Cal
Mm.
is run by the state for people who fall outside of Medicaid. I'm sorry, Medicaid.
Right.
Keep getting to that fall outside of Medicaid federally. So it does support some people who are farm workers who are not documented, who give them some health care because they still end up in the emergency room and we still end up paying for it in the end. That's what Medi-Cal is. That's the way they look at it. Okay. They are still selling this to white folk to make them feel better that we're not taking your benefits. We're just taking the illegals. Meanwhile, in the end, they're sitting around going, where's my benefits? Oh, yeah, your benefits are gone. They're just gaslighting them. And a lot of people are still buying this bullshit. That's
Let
how
me
they're
see if I
selling
understand.
it right now.
Let me see if I understand this. Medi-Cal in California. There are people on Medi-Cal that also get Medicaid, right? And
Yeah.
that comes from the federal government. But there are
Mhm.
some people that are on Medi-Cal that are undocumented that are getting some health care, but that's paid for by the state, correct?
The state Texas, state
And that's
taxes
the
of the
choice of the
United
state. We
States.
talk about
Right.
state rights. What the fuck?
Right.
So they're creating this confusion in that there are some people getting Medicaid money who are justifiably uh, able to get this money from Medicaid, but Medi-Cal is giving money to some undocumented immigrants, but it's state money, it has nothing to do with
Yeah.
Medicaid. And
It's
this is
nothing
what
to
they're
do.
using as their explanation for cutting it.
And also the other explanation, they're two pronging it. Okay. We're not cutting it, we're getting rid of the illegals. We're also but we're not cutting it because we're making the work. We have to have what is it? A work requirement. Okay. And we're going to help you with the work requirement because we're going to make sure you go pick the crops that those illegals were going to pick for us. So we're gonna. You heard that the Secretary of Agriculture dropped that little bomb on everyone. 34 million able-bodied people on Medicaid. We're going to make them work. They'll cover. Lady, that's not true. And you're going to start dragging children out there, and all they do is fucking lie.
Yeah.
Again, on the Sunday shows, Christine Nome was with Christine Welker. Oh God, that woman just. She's not a journalist. She's not. She's
No,
never been.
no, she's not.
She's never done any kind of investigative journalism. She's never done anything. She's just an interviewer. Okay. So she asked Christy Nome about well, two things. One, she's lying because she said those raids in Camarillo in California and in Oxnard in Camarillo, they stopped human trafficking. That they were illegally making kids work, so we stopped them. That is a fucking lie. You arrested some kids that showed up in the Roybal building in Los Angeles, and there's a video of it. You sent them down there in fucking chains. The protesters saw it, and there's a video on it. Go find it. And they went fucking ape shit on the ICE agents. They tried to push forward. They saw children in chains being sent down to the basement of the Roybal building. And ICE agents pushed back, and one ICE agent, one guy had a flag, and the ICE agent took the flag from the person, started hitting him with it. And I'm going, well, that's January 6th for you there.
Yeah.
And the Marines stepped up and stepped in, and one guy just went after the Marines, and they kept saying, "What are those kids doing?" Those are the children she's talking about. If they were rescuing human trafficking, why are they going to the Roybal building in chains? In
Yeah, that's a
fucking
good point.
chains.
That's a good point.
Eh,
I've got a answer for filling those farm jobs now that the immigrants have fled and are afraid to be deported. They aren't working now. There's problems with not enough people working on farms. When we get to the point where we have the Nuremberg trials and all the people in ICE and all the people in government and all the police officers and maybe military, all the Trumplafucks that end up getting convicted of the crimes against humanity, maybe we can send them to the farms and let them fucking pick carrots and raspberries and shit like that. Because these people, they're going to meet some accountability. You've said it before.
yeah, the
The
reckoning's
reckoning is
coming.
coming. It is absolutely coming.
I mean, let's talk about the concentration camps. They're all proud of this alligator. You couldn't, you cannot fill a pothole in cities, but you can build that motherfucker in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
$450 million in FEMA. And from what I'm hearing, Ron DeSantis, that's Ron DeSantis, baby. He loves this thing. And
Yeah,
he's
I
been
bet.
cutting corners. That's why the people in there aren't getting food. They aren't getting health care. They're not getting water. The people that they let in because they had to, they kind of skirted them away from the cages, but people were screaming at them. And the Democratic representatives are saying this is what's going on in there. They have no sanitation. It is a concentration camp. And I saw a CNN thing that these roundtables of CNN disgust me because they bring in people who support this shit. And
Yeah.
one lady was calling a concentration camp, and another woman goes, "No, you don't want to do that. Insults. That would insult the Jewish people what they went through." She goes, "What difference does it make? It's still a concentration camp. You have a concentration amount of people in there of one ethnic culture.
Yeah.
They are being rounded up because they are of that ethnic culture. So don't fucking split hairs with me that is insulting Jewish people of the time because it's the same motherfucking thing." And that woman who was an older white woman stood on that. I'm looking, really, lady? How do you fucking sleep at night?
I
Don't
heard
call it a
that
concentration camp.
there was some information that came out about the conditions inside that camp. I don't know if there was video that came out or just reports,
They won't let him
but
take video. This is
it
information they're
sounds
getting from
like
the prisoners.
from what we're hearing though, it sounds like it's horrific in there. It is much
Yes.
like a concentration camp. People stuffed in small areas, no sanitation as you suggested, and these people are essentially being tortured by the United States
Yeah.
government.
And you can't get away with that in a prison. In a
No.
prison. Okay? They have no food. There are reports of where they have kids where they're treating them. I should have gotten the video, but the woman's gotten reports that these kids who are in this thing, they're feeding them twice a day, once oatmeal, once soup. They're not
Yeah.
taking care of them. They're abusing them. And the thing about it is, we hear all this, but nothing's done about it.
Right.
Okay. And we had another court order went out saying that ICE needs to stop arrest because it violates the Fourth Amendment. Obviously, it's illegal search and seizure. Fifth Amendment, no due process. So Stephen Miller said, the ruling has that just issued a communist judge in LA ordered ICE agents directly to halt. Let's see here. I got to read this right. My eyes aren't what they used to be. So ordered ICE agents to report directly to her and radical left NGOs, not the president. This is another act of insurrection against the United States and sovereign people. He called a court order an act of insurrection.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom's response is that he's a fascist cuck. Called him straight out. And they said, "Why'd
Oh,
you
that's
say that?" He goes,
true.
"I don't know. The Trump administration likes to say that. He's a
Yeah,
fascist
hell yeah.
cuck." I mean, and the thing about it is that's and that's the thing I said in a video about these court cases. They don't care. They take those court cases, injunctions, when they file them with them and show the paper and wipe their asses with them. They
Yeah.
don't care. Okay. And the only way the only thing they know is force. Let's be blunt. If you wanted to end this, Governor, in the blue states, all you have to do, you don't have control of the National Guard, but you sure as fuck have control of the California Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is take a couple of local legislatures, say, "We're coming in." Send the Highway Patrol in riot gear. Tell them we're going in to investigate. We're going to go wherever we want. And they push back, you push back on them. I want to see what the Marines will do at that point because they're
Yeah.
allowed in. And then you go in there and you say, this is illegal. This is because every state has a constitution that mimics the United States Constitution, what guarantees you rights and due process and habeas corpus. If these people aren't having court hearings, if they're not in the process of being having a court hearing or habeas corpus, they need to be removed. And you pull them out and you shut these things down. That's the only thing they listen to because they're laughing at you right now. these prisons for hire, they're giving money to these assholes who are keeping these people there in the worst conditions because they're getting paid by the head. This is
Yeah.
where we're at,
You
and no
know, you
one
know,
says anything.
what I'm going to say is regarding Florida and Ron DeSantis. You said this alligator Alcatraz is Ron DeSantis's baby.
Yeah, he loves
Ron's
it.
already Ron's already in some trouble with some potential money laundering and such, and maybe trafficking of humans. I don't know where that's going to go. But when this is all said and done, when we find out what was going on in Alligator Alcatraz, and because it's his baby, he might be primed for one of those Nuremberg trials
I mean,
because this crime's against humanity because he supported it, he helped to fund it, he pushed it forward, and he's so proud of it. He may regret that after this is all said and done.
but part of it has to be how we're going to. I mean, but we have to force the issue, and I think it's coming. So you saw what happened in Camarillo, Oxnard. People were basically fighting back, throwing
Yeah.
rocks, throwing bottles, trying to stop them. These armored trucks, trying to get people away. Um, and it's coming to a head because Trump saw that and just basically told Kristi Noem, do what you have to do. Because remember, during the George Floyd protests, Trump wanted protesters shot.
Yeah.
Mark Milley said you can't do that. Well, can we just shoot him in the legs?
What an
He's got
idiot.
people willing to do this now. And the point is, if you go there, if you go there, be prepared because there ain't enough Marines if you set off Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that once you go there, once they go there, okay, if you start, this is what Trump said about throwing rocks. If you throw rocks, you're going to shoot them. That's very Israeli army.
Yeah.
Palestinians throw rocks, they shoot Palestinians. It's an overreaction. And I've heard their says, well, you could hurt someone with a rock. Not if you're wearing riot gear and riot shields. Go fuck yourself. Okay. No one's throwing Molotov cocktails or anything. All right. If they're throwing bottles, really? But if they opened fire and started shooting protesters, you don't want to know what the next reaction would be
But you don't.
because it
All you have to do is remember the '94. I think it was '94
riots.
riots
Mm-hmm.
in California. That was impossible to control because people were out of hand, and that's the kind of thing you could see in this situation too.
And Tom Homan. Let's talk about Tom Homan real quick. They have the
What the
turning
fuck?
point bullshit now in Florida and Tampa.
Yeah.
Those people are sad, and it's a bunch of white college students showed up. What part of life do you go there and watch them basically blame immigrants for everything? That's
Mhm.
what Tucker Carlson's up there saying 60 million immigrants are making his life miserable, all that. So Tom Homan went up there and said, hey, protesters want to do it, bring it on. I'm ready. Okay, dude, I'm ready too. I'm the same age you are, and I will beat your ass. Let's do it. And that's
Well,
the
he's the
point.
one up there crying and whining about, well, I have to be separated from my wife because of death threats. What the fuck do you expect when you do the shit you do? Of course, there's going to be death
Yes.
threats. Stop being a pussy ass bitch and man up, you Fred Flintstone fucking looking idiot.
And the thing about it, he's like, so he said, yeah, we're going to, go ahead and do it. And then he said, he threatened Portland. Okay, LA's crazy, but they'll tamp it down till it goes over. Those people up there like to fight. They
Yeah.
love to fight. I mean, that was the first time you when during the George Floyd, you saw that mess. That's the first time you start seeing them start to disappear people. That was the
Yeah.
first thing you saw that. But those people like to fight. I wouldn't. No, no, no. Don't do it. Don't, because that's going to get out of hand. And the point is, I'm hoping it just keeps escalating that people are going to step up. But I keep hearing people just trying to ignore it. One person said they were talking to other people like in the where were they, Midwest or like in Boston, said, hey, do you know what's going on in LA? No, what's going on in LA? Oh, really? I didn't see anything. How could he not fucking see anything?
Yeah.
They're still indifferent. They're still indifferent because honestly, to be honest, for the majority of white folk, it's like, well, ain't bugging us. And I never liked one anyway. Fuck him.
Yeah.
I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, every time I go to the Home Depot, there's always one hanging around. So that'll be less for me. I don't have to worry about it. And the black creators are still, we're just going to keep our head down. We'll be safe.
Yeah.
Don't, no, no, no. Be safe.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Mm.
Shh, shh, shh. Quiet.
Y-
Let them get
You know,
them.
I
Then
want
we'll
to
look
bring
at
something
us.
up. People always talk about we need a general strike. And whether that can be done or not, I don't know. It would have a serious impact. But I'll give people a tip listening to this podcast, just short of a general strike, just because of the information that's being disseminated. Even if you don't do a general strike, stop watching all mainstream news media. Stop watching them
Exactly.
altogether. Fox News, OAN, CNN, MSNBC, they're all complicit to a certain extent. There are a few exceptions like Lawrence O'Donnell or
Ali Veshy, I saw a couple of stuff today. He's pretty
Ali
good.
Vesh is good. Jen Psaki tends to be good too. But the vast majority of what's coming out in the media is not working in the favor of the
No,
people or of the country. Now, I want to get to, we were talking about all this bullshit and all the negative stuff about that's going on in this country, but I want to talk about some positivity. And the positivity I'm talking about is how Donald Trump is spiraling out of control regarding this Jeffrey Epstein. He fucked that up
I
so badly.
okay, guys. I'll be honest, and I did a video earlier today. Trump, from day one, literally has been the Teflon Don. Okay,
Yeah,
everything flies off him. I mean, all these things they're talking about, he's done before. My wife lived in New York in the 80s and 90s. She knew he was a fucking perverted asshole. She told me
yeah.
that for years. All right, she lived in New York. They know him. Okay, Uh, he doesn't give a fuck about New York. He's still mad at them because they don't like him that much. The rich don't. But he once bragged he could murder someone in the middle of Times Square. People will still vote for me. So I need you guys to explain to me if he releases the Epstein files and he's shown to be a pedophile, which we know he is. What the fuck difference does it make to his base? Why are they all pissed off about it? I don't get it. I'm totally vexed about this.
Well, I'll
Honestly.
explain. I'll explain it to you. When we're dealing, I call it the National Enquirer syndrome.
Okay.
These people have been sold by the uh, people that are what's the word I want to say? Why can't I pick it up?
Influencers.
Not influencers. The conspiracy theorists.
Oh, okay.
They,
Gotcha.
they love the scandal. They love the conspiracy theories. Now, prior to the election, um, the conspiracy theorists came out and said, "Oh, there's a band of pedophiles, and they take uh, they take secretions from babies, and they
Oh,
live
yeah.
forever.
Oh,
And it's the
God. Yeah.
Democrats, and it's the Democrats, and it's the elites, and we're got to find this out."
Right.
So Donald Trump, not thinking ahead, jumped on board that motherfucker. He jumped on on board that, and then of course Jeffrey Epstein, who gets arrested during Donald Trump's term, gets
Mm-hmm.
arrested, and people start talking about all the things that Jeffrey Epstein did. And clearly it's true. He did some pretty horrific things. And then he dies, and everybody says he didn't commit suicide. And they were so wrapped up in this. Um, and then they heard about this list and how Biden and nobody would release this list. So they were just dying to get the Republicans in position. So the Republicans get what they asked for, goddamn them, and then they say, "We'll get it out to you soon. It's sitting on my desk." And then they say, "Yeah, he didn't commit suicide, and there is no list." These people don't care about anything else. They really care about this Jeffrey Epstein and getting the Democratic pedophiles. And then the moment that Donald Trump said, quit talking about it, we don't want to talk about it, their suspicious minds said, why would he do that if he's been telling us this all along? Now they're becoming suspicious of him. And they're angry that they aren't getting their red meat like they were promised. And this is all working against Donald Trump. Now, as I've told people before, Donald Trump will always fuck it up. He will always make it worse. Um, People are saying, well, it's Pam Bondi. We should fire Pam Bondi. Go ahead, fire Pam Bondi. It's still not coming out because it's not Pam Bondi that's holding it back. It's Donald
No.
fucking Trump. No matter who's in there, they are going to hold it back as long as Donald Trump is in office. So people are really upset. They were promised this thing. This was their opportunity in their minds to ultimately and supremely own the libtards. And now Donald Trump just told them, yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
So the reason the list didn't come out because Epstein offed himself before he can go to trial. So it didn't become part of discovery, correct?
Right,
That's
right,
why we
right,
don't know it came out. That's why they didn't release it because it wasn't part of an open court.
right,
I mean,
right. The
that's why
court
they,
court case didn't
yeah,
go on, although there was
okay,
some little things that came out when Ghislaine Maxwell's. That's the ironic
right.
thing. They say there's no evidence that there's nothing, but then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail for 20 years? If nothing happened
So,
and there is no evidence, she wouldn't be in jail.
so they used some of that documentation. And again,
Yeah,
I didn't follow it because I thought it was horrendous, but I thought it was
yeah,
overblown in my mind. Um, but from what you're telling me is that, and I know Maxwell was his Judas goat, basically,
yeah.
recruiting. Um, so they used that information they had gotten from the Epstein discovery to convict her of human trafficking and
Right.
underage. Okay, and that's why they're talking about pardoning her to
Well, that's what
protect.
Donald Trump is concerned about her talking while in jail. And so he talked about pardoning her. It may have been in the first term. And people said, nah, you don't want to do that. That'll fuck things up. But he really wanted to pardon her. You know, it's funny when you see about these or Republicans talking about, oh, sex traffickers and human traffickers. We hate that. Why is it then Donald Trump protecting the Jeffrey Epstein files? Why would he consider to pardon somebody who's been convicted of child sex trafficking? It sounds to me that Donald Trump is pro sex trafficking as opposed to against it, and most of the Republicans say they're against it. So this is the quandary they have. Donald Trump is exposing himself as somebody who's protecting sex traffickers, but they want it exposed now, and it's really not working well for Donald. I'll give you an example, and I heard
Go
a lot
ahead.
of people talking about this on TikTok. You saw that long, infamous True Social post that he
That
made.
was, I mean, it's it was even through reading it, I could smell the desperate sweat on
Yeah,
that. And when you went to your old your to the old playbook, you know, uh, Clinton, Obama, Biden, all wrote that thing, and also we need to investigate the 2020 election to cheat Russia, Russia. I'm going, dude, what the fuck on that?
the, the weird thing about it is the first thing he comes out, he's got this long, rambling, incoherent Truth Social, and that tells me that he is freaking the fuck out at this point. It was far more than what he's ever done. First thing he says, you got to lay off, and now you got to understand, he's not talking to you and me. He's talking directly to his base.
Right.
And he says, you got to lay off Pam Bondi. She's really good. Just don't pick on her anymore. And then prior to this, they said, well, there is no evidence, there is no list. But in this one, he said,
There's a
clearly there
list.
is a list, but Obama and Hillary Clinton wrote the fucking thing. He is confused, he is flailing, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But some of the creators came out and they said something. I wasn't familiar with the term, so I looked into it. But they said that post was ratioed. Do you
What
know
the
what that
hell does that
means?
mean? Yes. I have
I'll
no
tell you what
clue.
it means.
Okay.
Typically, what that means is when you get more comments than you get likes, that's usually a bad sign. And
Okay.
if you look at the comments in that post that he did, they're all negative. It's horrible. I mean, we're talking thousands, tens of thousands of people who commented on his post, and they're largely negative. and more so than there are likes on this thing. And that's what they call being ratioed. But I want you to understand what that means. It's one thing to be on X or on TikTok and get ratioed, more comments than likes. Okay. But this is his platform that he fucking owns, that is
Right.
only talking to his people.
Right.
His own people are doing this to him. And that is a bad sign for Donald Trump. When he loses the base, he's fucking done.
So I'm asking you this because again, I because knowing the set of MAGA, the cult, who is fine with watching women being and children being ripped from their families, torture, the alligator Alcatraz, all the stuff we're seeing going on, the stripping away of all your rights and your protections. Almost close to 200 people dead in Texas, but that's fine. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
All that. How, if that list is going to be released, and let's say a reporter gets a hold of it and says "fuck it" and releases it, and his name's all up in there, all the logs, all the things he did. It's like basically a pimp's handbook showing who got what and who got paid. Will they really care at that end? Will they turn on him to the point he's got to leave?
I think
That's
they
my question.
probably I think they probably will. I heard one Trumplefuck on TikTok saying, I supported Donald Trump. I've stood with him all the way. But this Jeffrey Epstein thing is the breaking point for me. And I said to myself, really? It's not till just now, after all the things you laid out, the deaths, the destruction, the lies, the destroying of our
Crushing
national
the
security.
economy, 500,000
We,
people dead from COVID. I
we
mean,
were
all
all
of it.
cool with that. But the moment he disappointed us and didn't provide this Jeffrey Epstein list, that's the end. That's the cut. You got to understand, we're not dealing with very bright people, and they're all caught up in this conspiracy theories and all caught up in the scandal and the National Enquirer type stories. Yeah, it's weird that this would be the one thing that took him down, but thank God there's something. Thank God there's some place they draw the line. Unfortunately, it's way past when they should have drawn the line, but at least there's a fucking line.
Wow. Because we know what he's done.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of alluded that he's done it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I guess, and I know as everyone's watching this, going, I know there's some people as I'm just like, you guys, really, really, really. I mean, that's the thing that I'm just looking at him going, you know what he is. If you find out he's been, it's no different than you find out he went to Thailand for one of those trips
Yeah.
they did. And you're like, but that's it?
Well,
All through all, that's it?
a lot
I
of
mean, I
the
just,
information that's coming out now has come out before, like they were best buddies for
yes.
15 years, that
Well, there's
Donald Trump was
pictures,
his
there's video
mentor. Right,
of
right.
him
They didn't believe that before. They didn't listen to it, but now they are. And you're even getting Fox News coming out and talking shit about it. He's losing a lot of ground. He's losing his grasp because people are upset about this. We've got Nick Fuentes, who was a big time fan, had dinner with Donald Trump, and he's a racist. He's putting together red hat burnings. And there's been videos out there where people pouring lighter fluid on red hats and burning those motherfuckers. Donald Trump, see, the thing is, Donald Trump put out that that through social post, and it was just fucking crazy. Now people will think somebody will take him aside and he'll settle down and he'll try to talk his way out of that. No, he won't, because he is fucking absolutely flailing. I'm hearing words that he's pacing and screaming at people and upset. And when narcissists do that, it just gets worse. So whatever that post is, I expect something even worse if this issue is continue to be pushed, because he's never going to release a list while he's in office or has any power. The only way it comes out is if he's gone or it leaks out somehow. And there may be somebody in the DOJ, because that information, that evidence is in the DOJ right
Yeah, it's in
now.
the DOJ. I mean,
And
it could
somebody
be.
said,
Oof,
somebody
I
said, well, maybe he destroyed it all. Doesn't matter. It's in many
he
places right now
alluded
digitally.
to it. If he destroyed it, and here's the thing too. It's like a lot of people. To me, it's like, and I've seen some people. Well, what happens if their Democrats' name on it? And fuck them. Go to jail, or fucking. I don't want to see your face again. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck who you are. See, that's the difference. I don't care if you're on the list and if you were part of that thing, fuck you. Okay. But these are people who have been loyal to him, believed every word he said. Let's put it in perspective for a second, okay? Because I think this is what why my mind is so hard to wrap on it, Mike, is that we saw what happened in Kerrville in Texas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the Biden administration gave those people $10 million, part of the infrastructure bill, and they
Right.
wouldn't take it
Right.
because of all the conspiracy theories that Trump passed on about COVID and ties and all that. They didn't take that money. A lot of those people who have passed who died in that flood are on them because they didn't want to take the um, basic function of protecting their people because they believe the conspiracy theories that Trump has fed them, and it cost them their lives. These people didn't wear masks. These people didn't take vaccines. These people died in droves for him at his word, and they won't believe him if he says he wasn't on the Epstein list.
Yeah.
You see how
Well,
hard is it for that? Is like, wow.
well, the whole
I mean
thing
that.
makes no sense. It makes no sense, but we're dealing with people that aren't very bright, that are caught up in a cult, and they just behave weirdly. But I will tell you one thing about the behavior of people in this cult.
Mhm.
Once they go against Donald Trump, then they're going to believe and bring out all the other shit. They're going to blame him for Texas. They're going to blame him for all the different things. Once they don't like him, they'll take everything they can to use against them. And we know this because that's what they did to the Democrats. They take
Right.
every little fucking tiny thing and they shove it down their throat. And this is what Donald Trump's got to be worried about. The only people that really believe in him are his base, 25 to 30%.
Mhm.
The other ones in the Republican Party only go along with it because they feel the pressure or they're afraid of Donald Trump. They know better. And this may be a time when see people jumping ship. This week, this is Monday when you're listening to this, there's a
Mhm.
lot of shit that's going to go down because something has to happen with Dan Bongino. He said either Pam Bondi gets fired or I leave. Now, if Donald Trump should fire him based on what he said and what he did, but if he does, Dan Bongino's a podcaster. He's going to go out and start torching fucking the Trump administration and Pam Bondi. If they keep him in there, the chaos will get worse in the DOJ. So Donald Trump's in a no-win situation.
Do you think Bongino has the cojones to do it, or is he going to
To quit?
capitulate? Yeah.
To quit?
Do you think he gets the cojones to do it? Stand on his principle, even though it's whacked.
Dan Bongino has no principle, but um, I'll tell you what I think he's thinking of. He's thinking of Donald Trump is going down. I'm still relatively young. I got to make a living. I promised these people these things. It's not happening. I've got to somehow redeem myself to an audience so that I can make some money when I'm on the outside.
Okay.
I think, the only way he stays, I think, is if they threaten him and make him stay. And I don't know what they'd threaten him with, but God knows with Donald Trump, it could be physical, it could be financial, it could be legal,
Yeah.
it could be anything. But I think Dan Bongino, put it this way, Dan Bongino argued with the attorney general, essentially his boss, said she needs to get fired. Like that's going to make any difference. It's not going to make any difference if Pam Bondi is gone. The list is still not coming out, and he should fucking know that. But if they keep him around, it's a mess. If they kick him out, it's a risk. If I'm Dan Bongino, I'd want to get out of there as quickly as I can because
Wow.
that ship is sinking, going off the cliff, and he's going to go with them unless he gets away from it. And that's the case
So
with
obviously,
everybody around
Pam
him.
Bondi is a true believer. like Stephen Miller and all them. But Miller, I don't think he cares about Donald Trump. He's an ends to a mean.
No.
Um, so that explains the press up on ICE, the press on immigration to try to change the narrative.
Right.
I mean, because the one thing he can count on is hate and the fear of immigrants and the brown people coming to get you. But I'm wondering if that's even going to save him at this
No.
point.
It's Donald Trump,
If he
it's
can,
always the same with narcissists. They go up the arc, they do well, and then they start to come down and they gain momentum as they come down. And Donald Trump's a snowball that's gained a lot of momentum. And Donald Trump, even if he had the ability to dig himself out of this, it's too late. It's already going down the hill. He's already pissed off the wrong people. He has nobody supporting him if he's got the base against him.
well, I mean, my other thought was, what if they release a list that doesn't have his name on it? Will people believe it? I got a feeling they won't. If
No,
they
they
release a
won't.
lease and all of a sudden he's not even mentioned on it, um, or the information, and it's been like redacted, that'd be
Right.
worse, wouldn't it? People will flip out even deeper than they are
Well,
now.
we're at a point now when the people who trusted Donald Trump for everything now don't trust him. So no matter what he does, they're not going to trust it. They already see him as bad, see him as lying to them. So it's going to be hard to get their trust back. And this is always the way it goes.
Yeah,
Um, narcissists always burn people around them. And
right,
this is why they have no close friends and families don't like them. If you see him from a distance, maybe you think he's
right.
okay. But now these people are on the inside and they've been promised this thing and they're not getting it. And once you fail to give them what they want, you're not going to get them back. These aren't the brightest people. These are people who are very angry. And this is why I was talking to Tony Michaels on the show, and he said, I'd be more apt to believe that there might be violence coming from the right side now, given the way things are going. He said,
Yeah,
if deportations go into red states, and I know they were just in Utah, so I don't know how they're taking that, but they start affecting red states, and you're going to get people coming out with their Second Amendment guns, and they're not going to care who the fuck it is. If you're trying to hurt them, even if you're a Donald Trump person, you're going to get it.
yeah, it's going to be. And the thing about it's like so much is happening at the same time. It's literally, and it's hard for us who empathize or think or watch this. It's literally watching everything just kind of go crazy
Yeah,
at the same time. I mean, I touched on what's going on in Texas, but that's insane. They are not worried about helping those people. They're worried about covering their asses
right.
to the point the Mexican government sent their swift dive teams across the border to help them, and they arrested them. In one time, they arrested them at a site where they're there to help a family to who were stuck in their house with floodwaters, and they arrested them and took them away, and those family was still stuck there. And Greg Abbott came out and go, "We don't care. They didn't have the papers, so they got to go." They're not helping people. They're
No,
talking about covering their asses. No, Christy Nome, you you want some kind of weird ass? You have to sign off on every emergency thing. You fucking control freak. Also, you fired the people who were answering phone calls and no one picked up the phone. And your reaction is that's fake news from the New York Times. New York Times may be fucked up, but they usually do their vetting.
yeah.
And that's how they're covering it. It's like everything's going crazy. And then on top of that, let's talk about the economy, y'all. Hi, it's still there, what's left of it.
Well,
Um,
after this announcement of the tariffs this weekend, I suspect the stock market's going to be fucked with
oh, it's going to
starting
open on
today.
a bad note this morning, guys. And the point is, or maybe it won't, because he went to the 2 weeks, which is August 1st, before he does this, and they're not in effect till August 1st. Okay, if I'm on Wall Street, I'm not panicking. I'll be honest, I'm not making a move. I'm going to stay stagnant. Why? Because I'm pretty sure he will taco out.
Yeah, we know he's
I
chicken, so they aren't
uh,
even. He's like the boy who
yeah,
cried wolf. Yeah, you
because
can say what you're
from
going
a
to say, but you're going to
financial
back off.
analytical standpoint, we don't panic yet. Okay,
Yeah, you may be
unless
right
they
about
start
that.
and the thing about them too is like, but the point is the GDP is negative.
Yeah,
There's stagflation. No one, someone prime. You have the prime day early August. It's usually
right.
a day and a half, July 7th and 9th, and people buy all these things. But they found out that it's down like 44%, 40%,
Wow.
and they extended a couple of days, and it's still not going the way they want. And it's not because people are pissed at Amazon. Amazon's still going to make money. People will still buy their stuff. I do. Okay, Jeff Bezos. Again, I don't care about you being rich and you came up with a great system. What I care about is that you should pay your workers a willing living wage, pay your taxes, and don't flaunt your wealth like a motherfucker when
Right.
we're giving you tax breaks. In fact, if you flaunt your wealth and you're paying your taxes, I don't give a fuck. When you're flaunting your wealth and taking advantage of people, I do. But I will say his business model works. Let's bottom line it. Let's be honest, okay? Um, but when that happens, it's not a focus about Amazon and Bezos. It's that people are not willing to spend money because they don't know what's going to happen.
Well,
We
exactly.
call
They don't
that,
feel confident.
yeah, we call that in economic circles stagflation.
Yeah.
So inflation's going up, but not much. So people go, oh, it's not going up. Yeah, because people aren't buying anything. They're sitting on it. People are starting to lose their jobs. The the Supreme Court giving Trump carte blanche to start firing everyone in the federal government. You don't think that's going to affect the economy? You are out of your fucking minds.
Yeah.
Where's that money being saved? Again, where's my money, bitch? I don't know where it's at because you keep taking my money, but you give no services. Good luck with that. And there's no growth. There is no plan for growth in America. You cannot just sit there. We're a great country because we're going to do coal. What the fuck are
Oh,
you talking about? We're going to do what manufacturing? You took away, you stripped out the infrastructure bill. You took it away, which was creating jobs. You took away um, the CHIPS Act, which was creating jobs, creating manufacturing. Why? Because it was Biden's thing, and you have to have your thing on it. But you have nothing. I mean, I watched that motherfucking lying piece of shit on another news show, one of his treasury people talking about deals and
yeah.
saying that Trump is the most successful businessman ever in the United States. Are you fucking kidding me? Henry Ford would like to have a word with you from his grave, along with Andrew Carnegie and Rockefeller.
Not to
Okay.
mention Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill
Well, the
Gates. They're
guy
all way more
or
accessible
Warren
to him.
Buffett. Okay. They want
Or
to
Warren
have a
Buffett.
word with you. Okay. But I heard that sycophantic bullshit. And again, saying, yeah, we have deals. The Japanese are pissed. Okay. They there are reports that the American relations between Japan and the United States are the lowest since World War II.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know why it is? First of all, Trump wants them to take a certain percentage of American made cars into Japan. You
Right.
can't use American made cars in Japan. You know why? They're too fucking big. You don't know how it works there. And if you don't own a car, you know you pay every time you drive the roads. That's the way that works in Japan. It's many people in a small place, but he
Right.
doesn't understand that because he's not very bright. But the one thing you do not fuck with the Japanese, ever fucking ever, is rice production. Okay,
Yeah.
period. All you have to do from nerd side is look at any anime and everything. Rice is prominent. Why? Because it's a culture thing. It's
Right.
important to them. Rice made in Japan is different than the rice in the United States. Okay, there's different glutens to it. It's what the way they do for their cooking, for sushi, for rice balls. But also there's almost a religious fervor to it. It's their culture. It's what they want. And you're telling the Japanese, in order to deal, you have to take American rice to a certain percentage, and you're insulting them at the same time. That's an insult. You can't do that. The auto thing, they'll tell them, that's fine. They'll deal with it, but you don't mess with that. I mean, they have no idea the depth of culture in other countries because they're under the impression that everyone wants to be an American. No. And there are a lot of Americans right now don't want to be American at this point because
Yeah,
the thing about it is let's be honest, there is no American culture per se. We're a bunch of conglomerate other pieces with a belief system.
right.
Okay. Everyone brings their different pieces to America, and opportunity. American culture, I can't even describe it to you, honestly. I don't. I can't.
There is no specific culture. One
Uh,
thing I will talk about. I think I saw one of the economists or somebody in the financial part. I think his name is Hassert. He's such a
mhm,
fucking little weenie, and he's a flat out liar. They were talking to him about this 50% tariff on Brazil,
mhm.
and the reporter said, "Please explain this to me, because Brazil has a trade deficit with us, not us with them. We're
Yes.
sending them more than they're sending us. So explain why." Well, we're just trying to set the deals and get everything right for the future. And then he says, but then Donald Trump said it was because they are prosecuting Bolsonaro, the former president. And he
Mhm.
says, well, yeah, we feel strongly, but that's illegal. That's illegal to do.
Yes.
And this guy couldn't explain it. And he's got this stupid smirk on his face. And he doesn't really say anything. He just passes along bullshit that he heard from Donald Trump. And it's embarrassing to watch a guy like this who has no fucking answers.
And by the way, why are they prosecuting Bolsonaro? I don't know, because he tried to take down the government like they did on January 6th, and the Brazilians are us and said,
Right.
"No, we're prosecuting you, motherfucker," and arrested him. Unlike
Right.
this country,
Right.
I mean, and I mean, they have no clue how it works. That's the thing. You're dealing with people and a base that don't know how economics work, even in the base,
Do you
even
think the
base
tariffs
things.
actually happen? Do you think he'll chicken out or
Oh,
claim
he'll
victory
chicken out.
somehow?
He'll chicken out. He will, because it's the pressure will come on, and also you're gonna start fucking with people's coffee. We're pissed enough as it is. You want to fuck with that? I mean,
They
that's the
people
thing. Yes, go
people
ahead.
think, well, what does Brazil send us? They send you coffee. I don't drink coffee, but everybody else I know does. You start raising that by 50%, that's going to piss some motherfuckers off.
Oh, yeah, it's and that's the point. They don't. They this whole thing was a creation of Trump because he wants the world to run in a way that does not exist.
Right.
His business models never have worked in any world. Not even in the 50s would his business model work. Because again, business is built on mutual trust and benefit to each other. If you cannot trust your partner not to fuck you, you want to do business with them. At this point, the United States is not a partner you want to do business with. And the Japanese reminded Trump, do you know how many treasury bonds we hold?
Yeah.
Do you want us to call in your notes? Well, that won't benefit you. Yeah, it's called mutual assured destruction.
Right.
Okay, that's the thing, and it's a world that doesn't exist. Do you know what the big fight with Canada now is with, especially
No,
with
I
Christine
don't.
Nome and everything? They're accusing Canada of being the main supplier of fentanyl in the United States. It's not Mexico anymore. It's Canada. Canadians are sending all their fentanyl down here. They're
And
letting the
we've gotten all the
criminals do it.
facts. We've gotten all the facts. And when you compare fentanyl coming in from Canada, from Mexico, or any other places, it's almost non-existent. It's a
It's
very
almost as,
small amount. It's just Donald Trump just saying shit because
but
he's mad at Canada for not capitulating to him. So he's going to play
it's
this game and claim that, it's like him claiming that the Epstein files were hoaxed by Obama and Hillary Clinton. It's not true. It's just made up shit
but
to cover his ass.
I mean, I heard the last, where was he? Some speech, and it's just all gobbledygook and crap. I mean, compared to John Ossoff, one of my senators here in Georgia is up for re-election in 26. He had a rally in Georgia, in Atlanta today. That man can talk. That
Yeah, he
man
can.
went after Donald Trump tooth and fucking nail. He
Yeah,
doesn't. He's not Chuck Schumer. No, 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 no. Raphael Warnock, same thing. No, he goes to the point, and he's going to win re-election because there's no one they're going to run against him that's going to beat him. No,
yeah,
they can't, because you don't want to get into a debate with John Ossoff. I mean, I've seen some of the hearings. You've seen some of the hearings of John Ossoff going
I
after.
have.
He is fucking relentless, and that's what he does for this state. And by the way, I heard some crap from Texans talking. Why do Ted Cruz this? I go, you voted for him. And they go, well, no, I did. I didn't vote for him. Well, guess what? My senators, I voted for 4 times in 2 years. Here
Right.
in Georgia, we got it right. We didn't buy into their bullshit that they were trying to sell us, and we put 2 men who fought for us. You did not. You bought their bullshit. And that's why you have a senator who's in fucking Greece while his constituents are drowning in rivers.
Yeah.
Hi, reality. The point being is, when I listen to John Ossoff, that's a politician. That's a man I want to listen to, and I know he's got my back. When I listen to Donald Trump, it's all about him. Even when he went to fucking Texas for those people, it still was about him. Did you see that
Oh.
Dr. Phil bullshit? Why are you
No, I
there?
didn't. Yeah,
He
Dr.
was
Phil, I'm
there.
tired of.
And then he came, he was part of the table of idiocy that they did at the press conference. And he's talking about how much he loves Trump. I go, how's that going to help the people that lost their families, their children? Still, I believe close to 100 people missing, and it's starting to rain again.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, this is like, it's insane how we deal with this every day.
You know what the
Every
sad thing
day.
is? The sad thing is this natural disaster is not going to be the last one. There are going to
No,
be hurricanes. There are going to be earthquakes. There are going to be fires. There are going to be tornadoes. And Donald Trump isn't equipped with this FEMA that he's trying to get rid of to handle these situations. There's going to be people all around the South, specifically some in the Midwest, that are going to be hit with tragedy, and the government's going to say, "Sorry, the cupboard's bare," and people aren't going to be able to stand for that shit. Eventually, they get angry. I mean, the people in Texas, that's a whole different group of people. These are people that stood behind Donald Trump, and it's tragic that people are dying. Probably innocent people are dying, but the reason they're dying is because their representatives that they voted for refuse to help them. And even after the fact, they say, we don't want to make government bigger. This shit just happens. It's hard for me to feel sorry for these people, in spite of the fact that innocent people die. There's nothing I can do about it. You try to help them. The only person that tried to help Texas, not Abbott, not Trump, not FEMA, not anybody, but Joe Biden tried, and they
right.
spit in his fucking eye.
And when the emergency happened, the first people on site were people from the other side of the border who came to help, and you rejected
Right,
it.
right,
And I might, if I have a theme as a creator of all the years that I've been doing, 2 3 years I've done this, and I think I'm over a year talking to you, is that I've come to the conclusion, because they keep voting against their own interests. They know what
right.
Republicans do, and I just I'm sitting there. Why do you do that? And it hit me with a again, being a nerd, there's a line from the end of the last Avengers film where they're talking about the Avengers beating the army, and this guy's telling, this creature is telling Thanos, who's the big bad, to um, mess with humans, to deal with humans is to court death. Okay, and that's what it is. To vote Republican is to court death, and they
Right.
have proven it. Going back to the
Yeah.
pandemic, you removed the emergency pandemic thing. What happened? COVID. You're going right now after FEMA. You don't care. By the way, is there a FEMA director? Is he with us anymore? Did he pass away? I haven't heard a
Nobody can
word
find
from him.
them.
No, it's all
Christy
Christy
Nome
Nome.
shows up,
And the
but
thing, why is she ahead of FEMA? Where the fuck does she have anything to do with this? I mean,
well, I
it,
think Homeland Security, FEMA is under Homeland Security. That's
then
why
it,
she's
but
in
it's
it.
a different department. Let him handle it.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
nobody's
the
found
last
him.
Homeland,
Nobody knows where he is.
yeah, the last Homeland Security guy when we had FEMA went down there in FEMA. He was dealing with
Yeah.
other shit, like you should. I
Yeah.
mean, the Homeland Security, but and that's the thing. It's like being in that part of Alice in Wonderland where everything's just sideways and upside down, and you can't understand it because it's not the way things have been done in the past, even under Republican administrations.
Right.
They still reacted to disasters. Not really well. First, George Bush, when he had Hurricane Andrew, they had to beg for help because his FEMA sucked. Remember the name of that guy? He was pathetic. They still
Yeah.
got help down eventually. Second, George Bush, you had Katrina. That wasn't a great response, but there was some response.
Yeah.
There's, but right now, what you have is an unbelievable lack of caring for the American people if it doesn't suit your wishes. I mean, they love the ethnic cleansing because it gives them their hate on. But the
Right.
rest of it, who
Well, and the thing
knows?
about it if you know anything about our government, their number one job of government is to protect its citizens. And they are doing exactly the opposite. They're putting
Yes,
their citizens in harm's way. They're loading them onto planes, putting them in concentration camp, not giving people help when disaster strikes, and more disaster will strike. Um, all the people that vote for Donald Trump and maybe stand behind Donald Trump, I hate to say it, but you almost have to let them burn down. You have to let some of them die before they wake up. It's unfortunate, but there's nothing
but
I can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it, but let it happen and let them wake up at some point after suffering so much.
but even after that tragedy in Kerrville, which is in the other area there, I mean, that loss of life is ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
tragic. There are children, and they still don't get it.
No,
They still, and here's the thing,
but they're mad about Epstein.
they're
They're
mad
mad
about
about
Epstein.
Epstein.
I mean, let's put it more perspective. Benjamin Netanyahu showed up in Washington. Why? Well, basically to kiss ass, and APAC was there.
Yeah.
That was pathetic because there were Democratic senators there like Booker and Schumer there for that man because
Yeah.
APAC told him to be there. I wasn't, as I've done my research on APAC, I've found they are fucking us big time with
Yeah.
the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party loves their money, and they hide under the guise of, well, you don't support your anti-Semitic. No, that has nothing with anti-Semitic. I'm anti-Israel government at this time, which is dedicated to a genocide of people that they're not settling with because one man wants power. How?
Right.
Simple. I've got it right now. You see? Okay? That's the way that works. Not excusing Hamas. What they did was horrendous on October 7th. But as Joe Biden tried to tell them, you do a measured response. Okay? Nope. And there's already rumors even within the Israeli government, he's going to keep this war going because he needs to stay in power. Why? Because he's going to go to fucking jail. But to
Right.
see Chuck Schumer and Cory Booker there and a couple other Democratic senators kissing this man's ass because you get money from him, fuck you. I'm going to say that straight
Yeah.
up. But Ted Cruz was there. Oh, Ted, yeah, people are still having problems in your state, but you fucking rush back to Washington for that, right? Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, do you know where JD Vance was today?
No, but go ahead.
Fucking Disneyland with his kids.
Yeah, great.
He was in fucking Disneyland. Dude, really, honestly. Like there ain't nothing going on. But I mean, you're just waiting for him to die so you can Trump to die so you can take your spot. And then everyone's gonna climb over you like rats on in a maze looking for food. But
I
Donald
saw a
Trump,
I saw a
go ahead.
video of JD Vance, and for whatever reason he was running. The guy's 39 years old. I can run better than that. He runs like an old lady.
This is how twisted they are right now, how deep they are into this Project 2025 racist bullshit. He had a speech in San Diego, and I think what you saw him running is because protesters were waiting for his ass as he came out of that meeting. Um,
Probably.
and he told this group that basically there's levels of American citizenship, and some Americans are more American than others. And the first thing that popped in my mind from my sad, pathetic reading life in my life is Animal Farm, where some all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others.
Right.
And basically they are just twisting what it is to be an American, which is basically a land of people who came here from somewhere else. Hi, truth. And if you want to go there, the only people that can say they're more American than Americans live on reservations.
Yeah.
Okay, dude? I mean, it's just pathetic. That's how the thinking is. That's a disease we're dealing with. But where was Donald Trump? Well, when he wasn't rage tweeting or rage tweeting the other day with that thing he sent out, he was at a FIFA World Cup game giving out a
I heard that.
trophy. And I'm like going, one, he got booed. I saw him
Yeah, he
come out and
got
just
booed
wave, and
good.
people booed at him, and he's just being the usual, what the fuck? But he wanted to give out the trophy. Why? Why? What? I mean, that's the thing about we're dealing with. We're dealing with someone. It's all a fucking show and performance to him, and he's the center of it.
Right.
He literally is the diva with the trailer that is past his acting prime, but you're stuck with him because you paid him in the contract, and he comes out when he wants. And when he does whatever the fuck he wants. It's gross.
Well, the
It's
thing about it is,
disgusting.
is that he's at a soccer game, and he could be doing other things like cutting deals with countries, 90 deals in 90 days. That didn't work out. He could be dealing with what's going on in Texas. He could be releasing the Epstein files. But no, he has to put on his dog and pony show and be a dancing monkey and get as much praise as he can possibly get. I got to think these boos kind of getting in his head a little bit. I think all of this is getting in his head. I know how narcissists think. And when they think they're not the most popular one in the room, they get pissed and they freak out. And I think he's freaking out. I think he went to that soccer game expecting to get adulation to try to fix everything else he's got going against him. And that didn't even work.
I mean, and that's where we're at right now. It's so. I mean, from my personal standpoint, I am concerned for my personal safety,
I understand that.
and
Yeah.
which should be understandable, because I don't. If you run across the wrong person, yeah, problems. It's bottom line. You see it
Mm.
out there right now. They don't care. You are ahead to them, and they'll basically it's from the old adage, you know, the old military adage, bomb them all and let God sort them out. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just letting, and they're American citizens who have disappeared and they don't know where they're at. And no one, and everyone's like, I mean, okay, yeah, what's for lunch?
So let me
I
ask you this.
yes.
As a Hispanic American who's a citizen, you were born here. and your fear of going out and the possibility of ICE showing up and just by virtue of you being brown, them picking you up. What do you do? Do you just kind of stay in your local area and don't travel much, or what do you do?
Well, I work from home,
That's good.
and I got we're supposed to be in the office 4 days a week, but I got an exception for my knees, and I got a good thing I did before all this shit went down.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, I don't do much of anything except work and what we're doing here and that stuff because before it, I mean, there's no reason to because I have my office here in the garage. But also right now, it's like I don't like the idea of looking over my shoulder in America.
No, hell no.
Other than being safe because crime doesn't happen and protecting yourself from that. But added bonus of law enforcement looking for you like you're basically like I said before to start this, it's Mexican season like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
Waiting for Elmer Fudd to sneak up behind me very quiet. I'm hunting Mexicans. I mean, because you could see it and you see all this going on. And this is just the product of very few people who think that America is white again, but it has never been. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm waiting for and what I'm worried about, I'm waiting for someone finally to say, fuck it, and put up a
Yeah.
fight they don't want. I saw some of it in Little Haiti, New York,
Right.
but I haven't seen when I'm talking next level. And I don't think it's going to be protesters. I think it's going to be an ICE agent who flips out and does something, and then we're going to see what happens.
What do you think about the
Because
the story about ICE agents? Bad morale amongst ICE agents. Some of them planning to quit because they see the writing on the wall. If there are trials afterwards, you got these guys with masks that are essentially kidnapping people. Do you think some of them are starting to see that they could have a problem once Donald Trump is gone?
honestly, I think that story from the Atlantic was bullshit.
Really?
That's my opinion. I don't think you have, if you watch these people are dedicated. They love what they're doing. They believe they're saving America from these people, even if it's a 8-year-old child being arrested. They think they're doing America a favor. So
Yeah.
I don't find it all of a sudden, they have conscience showed up. They came into this without a conscience. They
Or
came into this
brains.
without any empathy. And that's a propaganda piece they would feed someone in the Atlantic to make people say, see, they're not all that bad. Guess what? They are.
They are that bad.
They are. If you're an ICE agent, if you're participating in this, if you're a guard, you have checked out of humanity. You have sold your soul, what you had, for a power, because that gives you power. All those people that you see doing this were the people we fucking couldn't stand when we were kids.
Right.
They were always picked
Right.
on. Now it's payback is a bitch. If you notice, all that's why MAGA is always pissed off and angry because they're always those people. They never
Yeah.
change. Now they got an opportunity to. But again, I don't. Again, midterms. I'm hearing that some small counties are canceling elections in North Carolina. I want to see how that's going to hang into a court when you start canceling elections in small
Yeah.
counties. Um, and I keep hearing about midterms. What are they going to do about midterms? They're just going to cancel midterms. Um, I think midterms are still coming.
Yeah, I do.
They're going to be midterms. There's going to be elections coming up. There's nothing they can do about it. That's why they're panicking to an extent. That's why they're pushing the message that illegals are the ones that are removed from Medicaid, and Medicaid is safe, and we're just making sure the lazy people. No, no, no. You got to remember, MAGA, you're the lazy person they're talking about.
Yeah,
You don't get
absolutely.
it. Um, I think as we get closer into the fall and we start ramping up toward elections, you're going to start seeing the panic get even more. It's just now the immediate thing. How long can Trump bullshit his way through the probably the biggest crisis of his presidencies with this Epstein file?
Yeah,
I don't know if he can bullshit if he can just say ignore it. It's not any. I mean, he tried, and people aren't buying it.
it's not working.
I mean,
No,
does he roll heads? Does he get rid of Bondi? Does he get rid of Patel? Does he get rid of Bongino? Does he just sit on it? Does he just say send out a fake one with a bunch of Democratic names on it? Um, he's going to have to do something because I can see the pressure. He is starting to
he's starting to
flip
break.
out.
But there's nothing he can really do that won't hurt him. He can't fire Bondi because whoever else he puts in there isn't going to release it either. Bongino, if he lets him go and lets him go out of there, he could go off half cocked and start talking about shit because he knows he's probably seen the evidence.
Yeah,
Knows too much shit. So he can't afford to let him go. But if Bongino says, fuck it, I'm leaving, that poses a whole nother problem to him. And then you have Elon Musk, who's still sticking his nose into this thing, saying, this is the final straw. There is a list. He's on the list. And he keeps pushing this. And let's be honest, um, Elon Musk has as big a platform as Donald Trump has.
yeah. What? I mean, Elon is like. I mean, is this just a battle of narcissistic egos?
Yeah.
Mine is bigger, basically.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
basically. And I don't like Elon Musk. I don't wish him any goodwill, but I do like the idea of those two fighting till they both self-destruct, and I think that's
and
possible.
and I loved the media being the media talking about his party, and and I just could not get away from this quick enough. Um, feed or something I saw. Well, Democrats divert to the new Elon Musk America Party. Really?
I had
Just
somebody
fucking
say that to
shut
me
up.
in comments one time. I think it could hurt the Democrats. No, you're one of these people that think everything is going to be negative and nothing can be positive. If Elon Musk's at this point started a third party. He can't win shit with the third party. The good news is he could affect the Republicans, and that's why the Republicans are freaking out about it, and the Democrats are not. It's not going to affect the Democratic Party. It's going to affect the Republican Party. But I'll be perfectly honest with you, Elon Musk is a lot like Donald Trump. They say a
Mm.
lot of shit, but they don't do a lot of
And
shit.
that's the thing I'm concerned about. We see all this boiling over with Epstein and everything. And we remember the budget bill that all that came out. They all capitulated in the end.
Oh yeah,
They all capitulated in the end. They all danced in the end thinking they won something at the expense of the American people because they've been getting by on bullshit for so long. They figured we can get through more line of bullshit, and that's why you're seeing the things we talked about earlier about what's in the bill. Always remember, all those things are happening next year. The only thing that came up in the budget bill that was immediate was the money for ICE.
yeah.
That's it. The rest of those things are coming in just after midterm, so they can blame someone. But the point being is the only thing that they funded was ICE, and that's right now. That's the thing they are counting on to save them. If we can get show enough of these people that we mean business about ethnic cleansing this country, maybe they'll vote for us again. But
But the
I don't
problem
know if
is,
that's. Go ahead, sir.
well, no, they've been ineffective though. I mean, they haven't deported nearly as many people as Obama did, and this is Donald Trump. Obama lives in Donald Trump's head,
Right.
rent free. He's trying to beat out Obama with the deportations. It's not working. He wants to get the Nobel Peace Prize because Obama got it. That's not going to happen. There's something that a Democrat is doing today as people listen to this. Ro Khanna is going
Oh, I was
to
going to bring that up. Go ahead.
issue a bill saying that they need to release the Jeffrey Epstein files. Now, people have said, well, so what? The Republicans will just block it. Will they? Because the
Mm,
people who block it are going to have to answer some fucking questions. And I'll guarantee you there are people in Congress that are tied to the Jeffrey Epstein thing. But
right.
Rohanna's putting them in a position they either have to vote for it and make the base happy, or then become vote against it and then become the enemy of the base. They're caught between a rock and a hard place in that situation, and I
Well, and I heard
applaud
someone's
Kahana for saying that,
yeah,
doing that.
I heard someone else's commenting goes, well, Mike Johnson won't bring it to the floor. Great, Mike, you have to explain that to the press.
Yeah.
Good luck with
Well,
that.
yeah.
I mean, Mr. Speaker, why aren't you bringing this to the floor? Is it important that we know about the Epstein files? Why won't you let Congress vote on it? Explain that, dude.
And I'm not even
Explain
worried
it.
about the press. Explain it to the mouth breathing, red meat eating motherfuckers that want to
Exactly.
kill you for doing that.
And that's the thing. That's a good press. Whoever's doing that on the Democratic side, make
Oh,
them,
Kahana.
fester. Make them fester in their own oil because they're going to say, well, it might affect Democrats. Yeah, fine. I want to know who the pedophilic Democrats are that went to with Jeffrey Epstein to mess with children. I'm down with that. If you're on
I,
that list, you're going to pay.
I'm ready
Period.
to put Democrats in jail if there are Democrats on that
Yeah,
list. And
and that's the
there
thing.
are.
Yeah, they probably are. I mean, the thing is, you have to understand, they still don't get it. They don't get it. We don't put up with it. We don't want that shit.
Right.
Okay, we don't want corruption. We don't want this type of rhetoric. And the thing about it is, the thing about it is, you talk about trans and drag. Yeah, but go do a search on youth pastors and pedophilia and watch what pops up on your feed.
Yeah.
Okay, and then put drag queen and pedophilia and watch what drag box on your feed. You're gonna be really fucking surprised about that
Yeah.
because that's what you're dealing with. And also, as you mentioned on a live after the vote, grabbing a man's ass. Look, guys, fine if just give it up. Being repressed is the problem. You're
Yeah.
repressed. Okay, let it go. And that's and in each states they're getting worse and worse with their legislation, going after men, going after women. It's just a show that part of me, as I see it get worse, is that a sign that it's coming to an end?
I
Is that
think
a sign
so.
that it's you're pushing it to the very you're running out of stuff to be angry about to the
Right.
point that it's now about the Superman movie?
Yeah.
I mean, Fox did and the thing about it is, what I love about it being a nerd, a comic nerd, I know who Superman is. Let's be honest, he is an illegal alien. His parents did take him and forge his birth certificate and stuff for good reason because they knew the government would take him and that would have been bad
Yeah.
because of the child. But for you on Fox to go suddenly, what do you mean he's an immigrant? I thought he was an American. No, 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 no. No, he was raised right. Um, that's one review I thought it was really good about the movie is that it just showed he was raised right to care about people,
Yeah.
which is something none of you fucking MAGA do. As I said in a video, you guys don't get it. Those heroes, you would be the villain in the piece. All of
Absolutely.
you would be the villains in the piece because you're everything they fight against. I mean, there are comics of Superman fighting the KKK.
Yeah.
Really, it's the truth. I mean, do you think that do you really think a cover of Captain America punching Hitler means that he supports your fascist views? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, just watch the one movie called Captain America Civil War, and that whole movie is about a fascist movement that he stops that's part of the American government. And he walks away. He doesn't support it. You guys are on the wrong side of history, even in fiction.
Yeah.
Fiction, going back, and I listen to old radio shows sometimes. And you hear these old commercials talking about being American, about fighting against fascism and voting and all that. And it's opposite of what we hear now. They don't talk about actually being proud to be an American, what it means to care about your fellow Americans and everything. It's all about being an American and supporting Trump. If you don't support Trump, you're not an American. I didn't sign up for that shit.
No,
I didn't
you
grow
know
up in that history. I did not grow
when
up like that.
when I was a young
Um,
boy, they don't do it anymore probably, but we played cops and robbers.
mhm,
And I've got and other people of my age played cops and robbers. And I've got news for Trumplefucks. You're the robbers. You are definitely the robbers. And the cops always win in those scenarios back when I was young.
yeah.
And you're doing bad things. It's getting worse and worse. And like you said, it may signal that we're coming to the end when everything is bubbling to the top and going badly for the bad guys, the robbers, as it were. And Donald Trump is shitting his pants figuratively and literally at this point. He is probably freaking the fuck out because he can't think of a way to spin it or pervert it or change it. And
And
he's thinking hard right now, and he'll just try anything. And every time he does, it's stupid.
and the thing about it that most people and some people will react and go, okay, then let's say the protests go bad and he declares martial law. Good luck with that. Okay,
Yeah.
really good luck with that. Because if you think it's bad now, go ahead and do it. Do it.
Yeah.
And again, if blue states want to make a make a point about this, they can stop their funding.
Yeah.
I mean, because
And
they
they
keep
should.
selling. They should. They keep selling this point that hey, um, red states are being ripped off by blue states because they're taking your money. No, it's the other way around. And if blue states actually shut off the fund, shut off the faucets, and redo it, I mean, um, Gavin Newsom is telling him, release the National Guard. Dude, you just got to shut off the funding for the federal government and watch what happens. And
Yeah.
honestly, if Gavin Newsom really wanted to push it, and I don't know if he wants to go there, he can say, "Hey guys, I don't care. You have illegal orders from from the president. I'm telling you, go home. You shouldn't be there. We got other things to do, like getting ready for wildfires in California. I'm
Right.
ordering you to go home." And just to see what happens,
Yeah.
because we what I keep hearing is let's go to court. So
Yeah.
the near
That's too
the
slow.
recent hearing that gave them the order not to arrest people on site, the ACLU finally filed it a month after they showed up in Los Angeles. 4 weeks. So 4 weeks later, you care about it. 4 weeks later, you file a lawsuit. 4 weeks later, there's a hearing. Meanwhile, in the bottom of the Roybal building is conditions that Old Soul told us about.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what's going on now. Worse, she put it in perspective, and she was picked up for just questioning an ICE agent because
Right.
she wouldn't cooperate with him. And so you people keep talking, and I was in one live before they banned me, and I said we need to stop. We need to press this. We need to do something more. And someone said, no, we have to be the good guys. We have to
Uh,
do it right. Okay, no, that's what the fucking people. That's what they keep counting on. They keep counting on us going, we're going to take you to court. Yeah. You know what? When you get that paper, I'm out of toilet paper. Okay. They don't care. And the only thing is that a bully needs is a push. And you've
yeah.
seen with some of these ICE agents when they get cornered, the only reason they get away is because they have superior weaponry.
Yeah.
But if we're going to push, it's just got to push. And people like Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom have resources. Hey, Karen, Mayor Bass, tell the LAPD, which you control as mayor of Los Angeles, to defend citizens being picked up by masked men. Tell them to leave the protesters alone. Gavin Newsom, you control the California Highway Patrol. Those are state police. You can use them to stop this, but you don't want to do it. I don't know why. Because well, let me put it this way. You don't want to use power like Trump uses power, like
Yeah.
Republicans use power. You have power you're afraid to use because you're afraid of people saying anything or being wrong. Right now, if you did that, people will go about fucking time.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
The only way you stop excessive power is pushback, and you need the authority to do that. And as you say, Gavin Newsom and the mayor have that capability. We're coming to the end here, so we're going to wrap things up. But I want people to know how to find you. It changes all the time, so I
It
want to make sure
changes
we
all the
tell the
time. Well,
folks.
the one consistent right now is still, you can find me YouTube, Binder38 US, BINDER38 US on YouTube. That hasn't changed. TikTok is still Kumquat 6. That's KUMQUAT, the number 6. I think there's a dot between T and the 6. As I say every time, it's a fruit. I'm going to hang in there. Someone sent me something what Hawk did to get him stuff unpermanently banned. Some guys helped him. I reached out to him. I don't know if it's going to work or if he'll even acknowledge my existence to see if I can get the original back. But at this point, that's where I'm at. Um, it's as you can see here and what you hear with Mike is who I am. You ain't going to get pictures. You ain't going to get um, it's as I describe myself sometimes, I'm crude, I can be uncouth, but I'm not stupid. And the way I deliver it is the way I deliver it. Anything I did, it's too much time being a union member and basically grappling with people who only know one thing is pushback. Because that's the thing. In any kind of negotiation, you can negotiate, but you get to a point where everyone looks at one another and goes, okay, this is the way it's going to go. And now we grapple. And right now, in America, everyone has been trying to negotiate their way out of this bullshit
Yeah.
to figure out a way to unfuck it. Talk about politics. Talk about. I saw one live saying, "Will you support Kamala Harris? She runs in 2028. Are you out of your motherfucking mind? That's what you want to talk about."
Yeah.
Okay, no, ladies and gentlemen, we are in now a grapple stage. They have taken the next steps of removing due process to an entire section of Americans because of the way they look. A lot of you don't remember that, but we used to call that Jim Crow. But
Right.
this is worse because they've taken it to the next step, what they did in Germany, and you're rounding us up for the purpose of making the country better because we're the problem. And until you come to the realization that it's just not us and you're not coming for me, until you realize that that's a fallacy, then you're in danger too, because they will come for you. They
No
will
question.
figure out a way to do it. They are looking at getting rid of people who have already gone through the system of naturalized citizenship and remove you from that. They are looking for ways to go after black people by using the word thugs. They're back to
Right.
that again. If you don't think that's next, they gave ICE $175 billion. They are the biggest police force in this country. Fuck, they are bigger than some armies in the world right now.
Yeah.
And if you think that that's just because it's people that look like me and that's not my problem, look, I'm telling you, it's time to grapple, and if it and there's no good way of doing this anymore. Am I calling for violence? No, but I am calling that we're not just going to sit there and go, I'll just file a lawsuit because they don't care. They don't.
I will say this. People will say to me, what do you care, Mike? You're an old white man. That's true. But as an old white man, I guarantee you they don't like the way I talk. And
Hmm.
they'll try to figure something out to diminish me or take me down or
I
whatever.
mean,
And fuck them.
there's
I'm
an
just going
old,
to keep coming.
yeah, there's an old concept from the Soviet times. They're called breakers. They would arrest people for speaking like we do
Right.
against the government because you were breaking society and breaking the true communist Soviet fascism system. So, therefore, you must be removed and arrested for causing harm to society with your words. Do you think that does that sound weird? No, because they're already talking about that now.
Well,
They're
as I'm
already
going to end
talking.
this, I'll just say this. Rosie O'Donnell came back up into the conversation again.
God
And
Almighty.
and Donald Trump called her a threat to humanity. She's living in Ireland and she spoke out against Donald Trump. So now he says she's a threat to humanity, which is
And
absolutely ridiculous. But if you don't think they're going to use that about against people who don't like talk the way they don't like,
we're
that's
talking
coming
about
too.
revoking their citizenship. Everyone said, oh, he can't do that. Okay. Okay. I mean, she's out of the country, but
Yeah.
let's say they start prosecuting Joe Biden on general principle. Then what? So what I'm saying is you guys have to realize that this is bigger than we thought. It has gone further than we thought in less than a year.
Yeah.
And unless this whole Epstein thing brings him down, but I don't know if it even get better because JD Vance seems to be worse. So
Well, let's
I
deal with
don't
the big
know.
problem first, and then we'll deal with JD Vance when
Yeah,
and if he
JD Vance,
becomes
because
an
again,
issue.
I think they'll try to eat his face.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
so
think he'll
too.
have loyalty in the end. But yeah, I mean, this is not a downer. I just want to make you guys aware. It's more to it now than just a bunch of, yeah, yay, look what we got. You need to stop. Uh huh. They don't do that until
The,
you
the
push
fight
back.
the fight continues, and if we aren't going to be
Mm-hmm.
tough about it, we aren't going to win this, and we must win this. So,
Yep.
Will, thanks for joining me on the show today.
Hey
Again,
guys.
it's always good to hear from you. And TikTok can try to shut you down, but the Rational Boomer podcast does not. So fuck
Mm-hmm.
them. And
Exactly.
you're welcome back anytime. And when you can come back on the lives, I'll do a live on TikTok and have you
Apparently,
on. Just
my exile ends on the 18th
okay.
of July. So another 5 days for using the word bitch. Okay. Okay. That's fine, guys. Whatever. Um, but we'll figure it out.
We'll
So
figure it out. For
we'll
those of
figure it
you
out.
listening, thanks for taking the time to do that. I hope you have a great day. We will talk to you again tomorrow.